It seems to me that this is now in a proper position in which it is not so goddamn evident. Hey, what's up, Brave New World? It's Joshua again here with a brand new video in which we are going to continue with this particular thread and fascinating topic that I love so much, which is a story time. A story time with a thread and topic and theme that is r/r/AskReddit. People from Reddit and Facebook, what was your "they didn't know I spoke their language" moment? Please do tell us the story. And before we start with this, I would love to thank you, nice stranger, to sit down right here with us. Take a little bit of your time off and bother to sit down right here with us and share these stories with us. Alright? Let us continue. Now, thankfully I found the post that I was reading the last time. Therefore, I'm going to continue reading this particular set of stories, which is now approximately has around 300 replies. Oh my freaking god, this is like endless material, and I'm so thankful for all the people who answer. Let us start with this new episode with the answer of Giancarlo. And it goes like this. All right, in the meantime, I'm going to listen to Despacito in an African language, really. So let us continue. Giancarlo, I'm not saying your complete name, says, I can understand a bit of Korean, and while walking at a night market, I overheard a group of them making fun of the city they were touring, saying things like stinky, dirty, dwarf vendors, and things like that. This was 2016, and I never knew I can forget a language. And this was in 2016, and I never knew I can forget a whole language. Well, the couple thousand words I know in one day. I'm not sure I understood the story very well, so let us read it again. Giancarlo says, I can understand a bit of Korean, and while walking at a night market, I overheard a group of them making fun of the city where they were touring, saying things like stinky, dirty, and dwarf vendors. And what else did they say? Alright. This was back in the year 2016, and I never knew I can forget a whole language in one day. I never knew I can forget a language in a whole day. Really? I do strongly disagree. I don't think it is possible to forget a language, be it a second language or a foreign language. I don't think it is entirely easy. I don't think it's so easy to forget it in one day. Giancarlo, now that's a story. And I started recording this episode, the new episode. You are the first story I read. Let us continue, shall we? Second story by this lady, this girl apparently, named, Hadjar. 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 Hadjar says, when I was a kid, I had a short haircut. Anyway, two ladies saw me in the bus and started talking badly. Badly, she says bad, but I'm going to correct that on the way to reading that. One more time. When I was a kid and I had a short haircut. When I was a kid, I had a short haircut. Period. Anyway, two ladies saw me in the bus and started talking badly about my boyish style and my hair in French, thinking I wouldn't understand them. As if French were a difficult language, especially if you speak anything different, such as Swahili, which is an African language, or Amharic, or Arabic or Hebrew, which are Semitic languages, or any Asian languages. When you put them in comparison to European languages, the difference is far too big. So, let us continue. One of the ladies missed her stop, so I told her in French, Lady, next time you need to care less about my hair and more about where you are and where you're going. I have to translate that one and make at the same time a dynamic, which is going to be, read this one says. Then Hadjar says to the lady in French, she missed her stop, so I told her in French, Lady, next time you need to care less about my hair and more about where you are and where you're going to stop. I suppose she said something on the lines of, damn it. Sorry to hear that. You can listen to me reading some stories now. That was a message for my Burmese friend, right? That was a message for my Burmese friend. So let's have a look at this particular dialogue according to Google Translate. This is English, and the lady said that in French, not in German, in French. What's that? Where is it? French. It's something like this. Dame, la prochaine fois, tu devras moins dessoucher de mes chevaux et plus de l'endroit où tu es et où tu vas. Où tu vas. No mames. That's rather surprising. Oh my god. Oh my god. Your kitty looks stunningly cute. That's a message again for my Burmese friend, who I appreciate so much and for whom I am so thankful, alright? So Marcela, if you're watching this, know that I was recording this video while answering to you at the same time, and I couldn't care less. Anyway, let's continue with the story number 3, which is by this guy named Ronald. That's how his name is spelled. Ronald. Ronald, R-O-N-N-A-L. Ronald, he says, on a train in Germany, 2 girls were telling friends via WhatsApp that I was a refugee, probably from Nigeria. I stayed silent while listening to the conversation, which was a bit insulting. I finally told them all about me in their language. And I really enjoy the look on their faces. Classical. This is one of the most fascinating topics with me, and I kind of, in a way, I look forward to the time in which I get to show off the fact that I can speak 2 languages, or maybe more than 1. And at the same time, I hope it doesn't happen so soon. And if it does happen, I do hope I don't get to encounter a rude person. Rude people exist in all languages and in all places. They are not exclusive to, say, for example, America, the US, which unfortunately has a really bad reputation due to these middle-aged women that are acting entitled and idiotic. I'm talking about these ladies that the internet has so properly called Karens. And I use it without any filter. And for anyone saying it's a slur and it's insulting, come on, it is nowhere near as insulting as the N-word, which is used in English to refer to a black person. A black-skinned person, alright? It is nowhere near as insulting as the N-word, which I'm not gonna say here. So one more time. Continue with the next one, that is by this lady named Ellen. Fun fact, I'm listening to Ed Sheeran's song Perfect in Wolof, which is apparently a fascinating African language spoken in Gambia and Senegal. Now that's fascinating. I think that if I'm going to make these kind of videos, I need to listen to songs that are kind of, yes, it's a good time. I need to listen to songs that are kind of, what's the word? I need to listen to songs that are kind of background things. I will listen to one in a language that I'm unable to understand, and one that doesn't have humans singing. So let us continue. Ellen Broadhurst says, and I'm not sure I'm pronouncing her name right, me, an American living in Vienna, walking near Praterstern, pushing my bicycle. I was approached by an American tourist holding a Vienna guidebook. She points to a sentence and starts sounding, I suppose you mean shouting, the German phrase for "where is the train station?" Very gallantly replied, "Oh, I speak English," and I explained the directions to her. She was completely dazzled by my lack of accent and couldn't believe how good my English was. Neil Gordon, he has a longer name, but I'm not going to say it. Neil Gordon says, every kitchen and at every restaurant, every restaurant job. I agree. Anna Wilson, she has another name, I'm not gonna say it. Every time I go into a Latin restaurant, every time I get to court or a hospital before the client and sit there waiting, every time I offer help to someone lost and speaking a language I understand. I suppose you don't have a story, but it's something that regularly happens to you, Anna, and I totally applaud that. Oscar Corden says, I'm a Guatemalan, but I happen to be fluent in Chinese, Mandarin, and Cantonese. Thankfully, I have never had a bad experience with Chinese speakers saying mean things behind my back, only to then surprise them. Ah, that's nice. One time while living in China, I went to a mall with a couple of other foreign friends. We speak to each other in English, but we all speak Chinese. A couple young women at the shop we went to helped us in English, and we kept talking to them in English after that. After a bit, they started talking to each other in Chinese about how they thought we were good looking. I thought it was funny, but didn't say anything. One of my friends, however, couldn't contain himself and says, "Oh my god, are we? I don't think we are as good looking as you think. You're too polite." And what happened afterwards? They blush a lot. They are writing something. This guy, Oscar, wrote something, and I think it's Cantonese, so I'm gonna write it. And what language is this? Of course, it's Chinese. So it says, Yuma, woman yin ya mei yi ni men jian, di na me shui, ni me tai, kekili. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's roughly what they say according to Google Translator. And then Noelia replies to Oscar saying, "But what does that mean? Can you kindly translate what your friend told them?" Noeli, it's in the parentheses. It's okay. My cat is biting my finger. Right, I just read it. Thanks. It's okay. Oh my god. Cody, it's a lady, it's a girl, and it's spelled like that. Cody. Kody, not I, Y. Cody says, I had a rude customer at work when I first started. I made a mistake and the lady said to her friend in Spanish, "Oh my god, she fucked up and doesn't know how to do her job." So I said, "It's literally my third day at work," in Spanish, and she's like, totally embarrassed, I suppose. Maya, with a really strange Y with 2 dots in it, I suppose that's the umlaut, in Paris. Maya was looking for directions to Letulia to a couple of Japanese girls. It was so fun and they were nice. I even read kanji in the map. Kanji is a nightmare. However, that doesn't mean it's horrible, and that doesn't mean that the language is not any less fascinating, because it is. Alright? Because it freaking is. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, alright? Japanese writing is fascinating. And it's beautiful! Alright, let's continue with another royalty-free song that I'm going to listen, which is by the composer. Oh my god. Are you serious? My internet is so bad? Fuck. I do apologize for saying those words, but it's necessary, guys. Sometimes it's just necessary to let it go and to let it explode. Yay! I'm listening to Scott Joplin. Listen to this. This composer always manages to make me happy, so if anyone is listening to this, I totally endorse and encourage you to listen to this particular Afro-American, I think that's the word according to Wikipedia. African-American, I'm not sure. Scott Joplin. It's an Afro-American, I think that's the word that they use, I'm not sure. That's the Afro-American composer and creator and king. And the king of fucking ragtime, African-American composer and pianist, according to Wikipedia in English. But according to Wikipedia in Spanish, it's Afro-American, Afro-Estadounidense. Pianista Afro-Estadounidense. It's beautiful. Let us continue. Taran, 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 tan, tan. Taran, 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 tan, tan, taran. Taran, 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 tan, tan. Ta pam, pa pam, pam, pam. Pa pam, pa pam. Y si YouTube piensa, if YouTube thinks if YouTube thinks that this is not royalty free, they can really make love to the final track over the digestive system, because Scott Joplin has been dead for more than 100 years. So don't be ridiculous, YouTube. Anyway, let's continue. Carla Carla Ayram says, when my two sisters-in-law, no, when my sister-in-law is trying not let me know their conversation by using G words as codes, yet I can still understand them. They were talking about guys every time. Oh, how adorable is that? I'm serious. How adorable is that? Freaking bubble. Girls will be girls. And you, my lady, have an inside line on that game. Totally. That's why they don't want me to learn the topic either. I'll be joining them or I'll tell her that what they're talking about. Typical girls whose parents don't let them date or meet with people with the opposite sex. Classical. Yana, this is definitely a Greek person, especially because of her fascinating and beautifully looking last name, which is Ladopoulou, I'm not sure, which is native Greek speaker here, but live in the UK long enough for native Greeks not to be able to tell the difference in my accent. I was traveling from London to Greece and was on the phone with a British friend. A couple of Greeks from the same flight came sit next to me in the waiting room, and a girl tried to politely ask in very broken English if the seat next to me was taken. I let her struggle for a good 10 minutes before saying, "The seat is free," in Greek. The seat is free in Greek. Oh my god. I wonder how you say that in Greek. Let's have a look. It's English, but I want to say that now in Greek. Greek. And according to this one, it's supposed to be η θέση είναι δωρεά. Η θέση είναι δωρεά. Η θέση είναι δωρεά. How about that? Please. Η θέση είναι δωρεάν. Δωρεάν. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, so if there is any Greek person watching this, I would love any correction. It would be totally welcome. Lisa, I am hoping, and I am assuming that the pronunciation of this name is Lisa and not Liza, that's for sure. Says this. A couple came into a medical office in which I worked. They asked for a prescription that was iffy to give them based on just one visit, but the patient really needed it. And I am saying that really needed it between quotation marks, meaning I don't believe a word you are saying, but okay, keep talking. As the provider was examining the PT, I'm not sure what that means, they were informed we may or may not be able to fill the prescription, and then they left the room and called the previous prescribing doctor. They proceeded to badmouth her in Arabic the entire time. I left the room when I was finished the charting and told them I would check and see if I could speed things along. The provider and I came back to the room, and she couldn't refill it for the same reason the original doctor wouldn't without more testing. And after she left, they instantly started talking badly again. I, in Arabic, told them I hope they have a nice rest of the day, and maybe their lives would be nicer if they had a more positive outlook in life about the people around them. Again, impoliteness knows no boundaries and knows no language barrier. I say barrier as if it was pronounced with a letter V for violet or V for vanilla, but it's actually with B for banana. Anna, I think I have already read this one previously, but I'm not sure. And it goes like this. Anna Kochan. I'm not reading that because I don't want to say the complete name. We have a tradition here that on December the 5th, 3 people dress up like an angel, devil, and Saint Nicholas and go around asking children whether they are good, etc. Hey, in Mexico we have something similar, and it is called the pastorelas. Pastorelas, in which it is supposed to be like a play, a theater play, aim at people, with the aim of representing the travel of people to visit the place in which Jesus Christ was supposed to have been born. Let's continue. So, well, a couple of years ago, I was spending December the 5th at my dorm in peace and quiet with a nice cup of tea, when suddenly there came sound of banging on the door, so loud that I splashed the tea all over myself. Then people came into the room, as I already mentioned. Well, I was kinda pissed because of my tea. And so in the split second I got a spontaneous, vengeful idea. First, I let them talk to me and say everything, and then need to say one more time. First, I let them talk to me, and I let them say everything that they need to say. And once they were finished, I spoke in half Czech, half English with an amateur version of Eastern Slavic accent, and I told them that I am from Ukraine and they didn't understand a word they said. I chose Ukrainian nationality because there are quite a lot of Ukrainians here, and so it wouldn't be by much suspicious. But back to the story. They grew nervous because apparently they didn't speak English very well, and it took them a while to say what they wanted. So I patiently waited till they explained to me that in their country there is this tradition, and etc. They asked me to sing a song, so I dropped in a Ukrainian folk song. Then they gave me some candy, as it is a tradition, and when they were leaving, I called after them now in our native language. Well, bye bye guys, and have a nice evening. I think she's from Czech Republic. She's from Czech Republic or Czechia. I'm not a big fan of that name, by the way. I must say, I'm not a big fan of that name. Let us continue, alright? Let us continue, alright? Marcelo, that's the name, Marcelo. Well, I speak English in Costa Rica, a very touristic country. Most of the time it is nice when I understand people, but of course, there have been a couple of arseholes. A-R-S-E-H-O-L-E-S. Arseholes. Arseholes or assholes. I'm not sure what word would be the most appropriate, but I'm using the pronunciation of that one according to what Marcelo wrote. Michelle says, to be honest, she wrote it as TBH, which is an abbreviation. To be honest, I only know English. So when my brother and I were young, we made a fake language and pretended we didn't know English to gauge people. I wish I knew multiple language, so study some. Sweet Michelle, oh my god, I have a good answer for you. Sweet Michelle. Sweet Michelle. Here is a nice message for you. Do tell us what the name of that invented language is, and do please give us some phrases. It's a good time. Oh my god, it's already 2:33. Oh my god, how much time have I been recording this? Wow. Megan, that's the name. Megan, like the sister of Drake and Josh, says, oh, this is a good one. Let's go. Megan says, people forget why Hispanics exist. So it happens all the time where people will say something in Spanish about me, and I'm like, hola, bitch. Hola, bitch. Bitch, not beach, because beach means the shore or the coast, while bitch is a female duck, which can be used as an insult, of course. Leslie Roth says, I'm a hairstylist. My client was speaking German to another client, and it seemed to me that they were insulting the other stylist and me. So I leaned in and told them, Ich spreche Deutsch. Ich spreche Deutsch. Meaning, I speak German, pendejo. I speak German, you mother, you bloody idiot. And it's like this. They were mortified, and I had only taken 1 year of German in high school, so I really didn't know what they were saying, but it sure caught them off guard. How fascinating is that again? When people assume that you don't understand them, and in fact, surprise, motherfucker! Or, that would be English. According to this one, surprise, motherfucker. Surprise, comma, motherfucker. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm not writing it correctly. Ekplixi malaka. In Greek would be like eclipsi malaka. Haha, eclipsi malaka. If it's Greek. But if it's French, it would be like surprise enculé. Surprise enculé. And in German, it would be like haha, Überraschung. Überraschung, Deppe. In Norwegian, how would it be, I wonder? Norwegian. There it is. Norwegian. Overraskele jævla. Overraskelse driksek. Overraskelse driksek. How fascinating is that? Let us continue with this one that goes like this. Liam is from Colombia and he says that two shop owners openly discussing putting the price up for the coriander that I was buying right there in front of me. That's the first scenario that comes to mind, but things like this have happened to me many times. In that case, my dear Liam, in that case, comma, my dear Liam, comma, I really would love to know more stories told by you involving situations in which they didn't know you spoke their language. Now that's fascinating. Let us continue. I still have so many stories to read, so once this is like 1 hour and a half, or no, 1 hour, I'm gonna stop it there. Schacht says, I was with my friend in the elevator and this lady comes in dissing my friend in Arabic. So I diss her back. Be like, this is Canada. How stupid do you have to be to think that you are the only Arab here? Oh my god, this is nice. I diss her back. Be like, how stupid do you have to be to think you are the only Arab here? Oh my god, that would be an amazing, excellent way to discuss that. Let's see what Google Translate says according to this. It is in Arabic. How would you say that? Instead, have been. In Arabic, how would you say that? What the heck? Where's the Arabic? Ah, there it is. Ah, Arabic with the accent. Oh my god. Yamlach mikaba ante dakit anakale raibu halwayed huna al-Arabiyya al-Arabiyyu al-Wahid huna. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, so if there are any Arabic speakers who can correct what a horrible way I pronounce that, it would be totally welcome. Hunter says, I moved from New Mexico. There. Hunter says, from New Mexico. I am from New Mexico, but I moved to Georgia for a bit. I was getting home. By the way, do you mean Georgia, the country in the Caucasus, or Georgia, the state? Because unfortunately, too many people get confused between Georgia, the country, and the state from the US. And more than 80% of people you might talk to, they might believe that you refer to Georgia, the state. Therefore, I'm going to assume you're talking about the country, alright? Let us continue. From New Mexico, but moved to Georgia for a bit. I was getting home late from work and stopped at the only open fast food joint on my way back. Two girls were speaking Spanish. Basically just shit talking about me. I told them thank you and you have a nice night in Spanish when they handed me my food. It was a hilarious reaction. I assume you were talking about the state in the US and not the independent country. Yeah, he must be talking about the state. Tom says, in August in 1975, in the last weeks of my year abroad in Europe, I hung out in Paris with one of the most interesting people I have ever known. His name was Alain, I'm not sure, and he had just been honorably discharged from the US Army in Germany after serving as a dental assistant. What made Alain especially interesting was the fact that he was born in Belgium and had migrated to California as a teenager, where his parents had a French restaurant in Santa Barbara. He spoke fluent French, but his English was the most bizarre combination of California and GI slang, all spoken with the most charming accent. How nice is that? As so many people associate French with the language of romance and romantic sounds, I'm not sure. Hey, I prefer Latin, and that's okay. Feel free to diss me back and throw crap and shit at me for saying that French is good, but there are other more romantic sounding languages. And also, I never said French was beep insert bad word here. I'm just saying it's not the most romantic. There are others. Because so many people can easily misinterpret the things that come out of your mouth. Let's continue with another song that I'm going to listen to. Yes. I hope that the microphone doesn't catch what I'm listening. So let us continue. One day, going back to the story of Tom, one day on the metro we sat across from an American college student who was literally carrying an American passport. Aline, being extremely outgoing, naturally tried to strike up a conversation and asked, "Hey dude, where are you from?" To which this earnest American student, who wanted nothing to do with these two American clots, replied, "Pardonnez-moi, je suis Canadien et je ne parle pas l'anglais." Alan, of course, then switched to his native French with completely deflated this French-Canadian wannabe, who finally said, "Depuis je suis arrivé en France, je ne comprends pas le vrai français." Poor guy was trying so hard to blend in that he basically told us that he didn't speak English or French. Ha! How funny is that? Worse than not being is pretending, so just don't pretend except that you are not. It's easier than pretending. Trust me, you're going to save so much trouble. I like the way I look, to be honest. How much I wish I had a beard, goddammit. I think I'm going to stop it right there, and I'm going to leave it right there. And say to my dear friend over here, Tom, and by friend I'm probably being a little superficial, but hey, it's social media. It doesn't really matter. I am totally fascinated by this particular story, and I must say it was indeed a joy to read. Thank you, man. Oh, and by the way, I am making a video about stories with this topic. What is your... They didn't know I spoke their language moment. Ha 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 ha. And you are the last one I read. Thanks in advance for being the marker. I think that's it. Thank you so much, Brave New World. I would like to thank you all for staying here, bearing with me, and staying here. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. And one more time, thank you for staying here and listening to these particular stories, alright? Farewell, and I see you in another encounter. Thank you so much, Brave New World. Have a wonderful day.